Hey, what's going on, guys? Phil here with Mechwarrior Online's next free mech for September through October. So it is the Warhammer 6R, and this event is already ongoing. So if you're watching this video, you're already late, but don't worry, you probably have enough time to be able to get the mech. And what we're going to do is go through a few, maybe, I would say, builds that you may find interesting. Maybe you already have them, or if you've never tried them, you might just really enjoy. So we're going to go ahead and hop in here. And of course, quick shout out to the Warhammer fans that are out there. This definitely is a play on that. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on with Games Workshop and Warhammer 6R, and we've got some other stuff like the match score being 40,000. I'm just saying, is it a coincidence? Probably not. Anyways, let's go ahead and hop into the Mech Lab and talk about the Warhammer 6R and what builds I've found success with, and just sort of go through the builds. All right, the first thing about the Warhammer I want to be very, very clear on is it's a just good all-around mech, and it's actually a good mech for new players coming in. There's a wide variety of builds that you can do, and this 6R was chosen for a reason, and that reason is because it is a solid design. It's got plenty of hardpoint choices in the torsos. You can do standard builds on it, LFE builds on it, XLs. And of course, like I said, because they are, for the most part, torso mounted, they are high mounted, especially for a new player. You also can teach a player laser duration, PPCs, ballistic builds, you name it. It's a good mech all around. Now, if you're new to Mechwarrior Online, this free event may be a bit confusing because it's on the website, but it's also actually in the game. You don't have to go to the website to claim your rewards. What I'm going to show you is something even better. All you got to do is click down this little button down here at the bottom. It looks like an E. Okay, all you got to click is that. You're going to see under active events the Warhammer September free mech event, and again, it's 28 days. So again, it rolls into October. And really, you've got ones you can basically unlock. And so this, if you earn one victory, you get 7 days premium time. Now, you don't have to unlock all of these for the Warhammer. Just scroll down to where it says Warhammer. So all you have to do is this right here to earn the Mech Bay and of course the Warhammer. Now you can do all of the other ones, but you don't have to. This is the only one. Of course, you're probably going to pick up the other stuff as well. So just sort of keep that in mind. You'll pick up the others as you move along. That's the whole point of these events. Now, what I mentioned, don't go to the website, is if you go to the website and you claim them, they tend to take a little bit longer. Usually it's the top of the hour. Sometimes it's a little bit longer. If you claim here in game and you go to the training grounds and you come out or log out and log back in or make a drop and come out, you will get your rewards. If you do it through the website, it can take a few hours sometimes. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's go talk again about the Warhammer. I talked about how it's a great mech for a new player, so if you're coming in here, it's fantastic. There's a few builds going on. Obviously, right now, you're seeing the dual heavy Gauss, and the Warhammer is actually quite unique as far as it's a heavy that can do this, and not many heavies can. Again, Catapult can, this can. There's a few, but not many, and this is just really fun. So what you're looking at here is a dual heavy Gauss setup, and there's a few things, key things that to make this work. First off and foremost, this is slow, like Annihilator slow. Positioning is just as important, if not even more, because you don't have the armor, though albeit you do have a smaller profile. So you go whopping 46.3 kph, you have dual heavy Gauss, plenty of ammo, but you'll notice here standard heat sinks, and the reason is you need 10 total because rules to get 10. So standard armor, standard heat sinks, Indo steel, a standard 200. Very, very simple. You can see here, I'm not really concerned with the arms. They're literally there just because I have to. When and if I lose the standard heat sinks, I don't really care because you're heat neutral on this build. You do not have to worry about the heat. And the nice thing with this is you have 50 pinpoint at optimal range. And optimal range is around 253 meters. Okay, jumping into the skill tree, the thing you're going to focus on with the heavy Gauss rifle is cooldown. Cooldown and cooldown. You actually don't need heat gen, so if you see any of these just randomly here, you just don't need them. Again, you are heat neutral. So what I'm going to focus on is heat as cooldown and velocity if you want to, and range. Again, getting that extra bit of range. Pick up those extra range nodes, and of course magazine capacity that you can do here. So cooldown, range, and of course ammo, mag capacity. Full structure and armor. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of mobility here just because we're going to have extra as far as nodes to use. You're going to come over here to sensors. You're going to pick up 60% of radar deprivation. You can also, instead of doing mobility, you could also do the other set of radar deprivation as well. And of course, auxiliary for a consumable. And again, airstrike and UAV because, you know, heat doesn't matter. Now, you may be new. You may be asking why this specific thing. This is going to get you maximum cooldown. That's being basically able to fire your Gauss rifles as quickly as possible. The magazine capacity is going to increase your ammo count per tonnage, and you're going to pick up both of those. And of course, max survivability here because you are a walking target here with 46. You're going to get in to that close range. And with the heavy Gauss rifles, you want to be pinpoint with that, right? So you're going to go after targets of opportunity. Try to aim for the heads. A lot of people don't. You'd be surprised. The Atlas, Annihilator, stuff like that. Aim for that cockpit. You never know. If you hit it, you're going to take it out. Go for CT or left torso spots, especially with these heavy Gauss rifle rounds. You're doing a lot. Now, do you want to fire outside that 250 meters range? Yes, you can. If the match is progressing, you know, on your side, or maybe it's not, take some shots at 500, 600, but I would limit those only if you are doing well or if you guys are you just need to get the damage out there because it does drop off dramatically. This graph doesn't really help you because you can't really see, but you can see here optimal range 270 meters drops off probably around 300. It starts to drop off quite quick after 270 meters. So just sort of keep that in mind. That all being said, this is the heavy Gauss setup for the Warhammer. Give it a try if you haven't. Let's go ahead and move on to the next setup, shall we? All right, next up, we have a build that you've seen me play actually on the Widowmaker. And of course, I do stream these live. If you haven't, make sure to just pop on over here, twitch.tv/NGNGTV. I'll have a link down below, 12 to 6 p.m. Eastern. I stream, we interact, we laugh, we cry, we do all the things. So come join me and shed some tears, because the tears are what power us all, right? That is that word. Anyways, let's move on to this. We've got dual light Gauss and ERPP setup. This actually is a build that you can alpha without ghost heat. So just keep that in mind. I know your brain's going like, that's not correct. Actually, it is correct. You can fire light Gauss and ERPPCs with no ghost heat. Notice there's no warning sign here. You are able to do it. Now, keep in mind, this build can and will run a bit hot. The whole idea about it is your light Gauss is what sustains you. You want to be at that optimal sort of range, 800 meters plus, right? These both have the same optimals, which is 810 plus 121 meters. So they have really good sinking ability. Now, the biggest difference here is velocity, 22. And of course, this is 19. So the ERPPCs are a little bit slower, but they're right behind the Gauss. So this is a sniper build. You've seen it quite a bit out there on the battlefield. Some really good players and groups can run them, and it can be quite effective. You are not supposed to be at the front lines. You are to be that sniper, again, positioning, moving. Don't be just a stationary target, though. You do go 66 kph. Now, the first thing to point out is this XL engine. You are an XL setup. You are squishy, right? So if you're going to be playing this, pay attention to your minimap, move with your team, and you are there for direct fire support in the form of direct fire ERPs and light Gauss. When your mech starts running hot, specifically switch just to the light Gauss rifles. As far as skill tree, just like how we covered in the last one, you want to go cooldown, but instead of throwing those points into agility, throw them into the heat generation nodes for your firepower. That's going to help bring it down. But as far as tankiness, you then can remove some from the armor and structure and put those in operations just to basically help your mech cool down a little bit faster. But the reason why I don't have that, and I'm not advocating for that, is because you're only running 10 heat sinks, and that's all in the engine. It's not like your heat efficiency is already through the roof. You give 5% to, a low number, it's not as dramatic of a change. So generally speaking, this mech can run a little bit hot, but it's very effective. Like I said, especially if you're running a group. So check this out. If you haven't done so already, this can be quite fun. And again, you get the awesome ability to just alpha the light Gauss and ER peeps together, which is always really, really fun. All right, next up on the list is something similar to what we just covered. Instead of light Gauss and ER peeps, we have light Gauss and heavy peeps, because why not? We have an XL 200. a bit slower. Now, this is one of those builds that I'm going to warn you ahead of time is not for everyone. You go 46 kph. You are an assault mech level class speed there. Okay, so this isn't for everyone. And you do have to worry about this little warning up here. And again, that's no left armor, mainly just because I put the double heat sinks in the right arm to get us to 10. Your heat can be and will be a problem, but that alpha, again, with light Gauss and PPCs not having ghost heat, you can just alpha a few times. So give it a go. Again, this has a little bit more oomph, if you will, at range. The heavy peeps obviously are not synced with the light Gauss rifles. You can see optimal range, 540 plus 80. So you're, 620 meters. Again, that's not bad, but it'll reach out to double that. So if you need to take a shot at that 1,000 meters or so, you'll be just fine. You just won't be doing max damage. Again, this mech, I would probably suggest playing in a group. I don't know if I'd suggest it solo, just because you will be vulnerable to being out rotated or outmaneuvered. But give it a try regardless, and let me know what you guys think about this one. I have played it a few times. I think I prefer the ERPPC and light Gauss combo. One, just because both those weapons are synced just basically perfectly, and two, you're a little bit faster, which on today's battlefield might give you a little bit more edge. So yeah, anyways, here you go. Heavy peep like us. Check it out. All right, next up, we have the Warhammer with dual LB20s. If you haven't just blapped someone in the face, well, there's nothing like it out there. Of course, you have the heavy Gauss version that gives you a little bit more optimal sniping, pinpoint 50 in the heavy Gauss setup. This is more for the close range, in your face, LB20s, crit seeking, life destroying, making you cry setup. So this goes 66 kph. It's got a standard 285, 6 tons of ammo out there. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is, you have no armor in the arms, but you don't need arms with LB20s. This is a fun mech, again, to roll around. And again, not everybody may like this, but definitely give it a go. If you are going to be checking this out, one thing you will need to pick up is a focus on cooldown. Don't worry about heat. Also, make sure to grab the LBX nodes to help your spread go from this to a little bit of this. Okay, that's going to help you be a little bit more pinpoint. As far as optimal range, you've got 360 meters plus 54. That gives you 410 meters. Now, do you want to be firing at 410 meters? I would probably say only once in a while. What you're trying to do is get as close as possible to basically make this an AC-20, but for, all intents and purposes, that's what it is, right? Faster fire and so forth and so on. So you're also go for targets of opportunity, crits, right? If you see a torso that's open, aim for that. And again, you might be surprised, especially on those XL setups and so forth and so on. So again, if you've never tried this, the Warhammer is pretty versatile. So we've got the heavy Gauss, that's a little bit longer. We've got sniper versions, and this is basically the Blap Hammer on the 6R. So check it out, let me know. And last but not least, another brawl setup. This is actually a build that came out of when snubs sort of got a buff a while ago and everybody was running snubs. This is 3 snubs with an AC-20. This does have an LFE 270 in it, and again, giving you 62.5 kph. What are you wanting to focus on the skill tree? You're wanting to focus on cooldown and heat gen as far as the weapons survivability. Now, this mech has 4 additional heat sinks for a total of 14. I don't think you need to focus as much on the operations, and that's mainly just to how the weapons are. Snubs and the AC-20 do really, really well. One thing to keep in mind when you're looking at the setup is to adjust the rear armor to whatever you need. I just tossed that out there. Some people like a little bit, more in the front. And again, I'm looking at you, tryhards. Yeah, make sure to check it out. This is a really fun setup. I saw it being ran on the Catapult, on the Cataphract, surprisingly. Of course, the Warhammer. It's just a fun setup. And of course, we haven't gone over the typical dual Gauss, ER, or medium lasers. Those are typical ones. You're going to see those out there. And again, I highly recommend them. The Warhammer, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, is so versatile, and you can see that we had a wide range of setups, and what makes it unique is that those torso ballistics, it's able to handle the biggest weapons in the game and also the biggest energy in the left-right torso, and that gives it a lot of freedom. Yes, you can, of course, for all of your purists out there, drop PPCs in the arms, but when you don't have to, you got some torso locations that will be better used as far as locations. But, you know, as far as survivability, you can drop an XL in there. Just keep in mind you are vulnerable. The big thing with this is just positioning, of course, with all matches. But those are some setups that if you haven't checked out the Warhammer 6R, make sure to do so. Again, funny enough, I just played this mech almost the entire stream a few days ago. And I was just running around in dual heavy Goss, just blapping people, going for headshots, and you'd be surprised how many you can get when you actually go for them. Luckily, the event doesn't look like there's any headshots required for this free mech, but for being the free mech, I think it's a great one, especially because the ease of customization for a new player coming in here. You can buy this chassis and you can do a wide range of builds for all the way to extreme ranges to basically in your face. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it informative, click that like button. Of course, comment down below. What's your favorite setup? Did I cover it? Did you find any of these that you were like, yeah, this is awesome? Or are you just not really a fan of the Warhammer in general? To which I think Darren would like a word with you. He's, I don't know, it's weird, man. He hasn't like washed that cockpit in a while. Should really just talk to him. It smells funny when it's locked up and you're outside the mech. That's when you know it's bad, really bad. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it. Again, if you are new to the channel, click that subscribe button, because why not? It's free, it's easy. Free and easy. Did I just say free and easy? Yeah, I did. Well, until next time.